When I think of a masculine physique, the first thing that comes to the mind is the upper shelf, is the upper chest area, anterior delts, lateral delts, lower pecs as well. It's one of the most sought after things when you're trying to portray this very strong, masculine, athletic, dominant and powerful physiques. So I thought what might be important and conducive to you achieving this particular outcome today, gentlemen, is for me to kind of take you through one of my atypical, or typical, pardon me, workouts when trying to build that kind of frame. So I have been training for about 10 years now, and this is kind of currently where I'm at, and I'm going to take you through what I believe some of the most important exercises are in order to achieve that kind of goal. Now, some of these are going to be more typical than others, but some are going to be a little bit atypical, beginning with something called the larsen press. Now, the larsen press is one of my favorite pushing pattern exercises because unlike the bench press, it takes all leg drive out of the equation. The amount of times I've seen guys who cheat, who are using their glutes, who are using their lower backs, who are using leg drive primarily to move a lot of weight is unconducive to their goal of chest growth. So you can see here, I'm setting up in the typical way. My feet are on the bench and then I'm lowering my legs once I get once I unrack the barbell. And this way, all the muscle I am using to move this weight is the muscle in my chest. It's all chest muscles. It's all pectorals. A little bit of anterior delt and tricep, of course, will come into that equation as well. But this way, we really get to the crux of what we're doing, which is chest growth. Now, if you want to move heavyweight, fine, move heavyweight. But if you want to grow your chest, then only use your chest. It doesn't take a lot of weight to get stimulation in the chest this way, right? So here, this is about 80 kilograms. I'm not sure the equivalent is for the Americans watching here, but let's say this is 245 plates and half of that, whatever that may be for you. But again, all the tension here is in the pectorals, is in anterior delt, is in tricep. I'm trying to keep my tempo nice and smooth and make sure that there's tension in those muscles all the way through the movement. Now I do switch over to bench here because I just wanted to show you an example of the difference between, what I can achieve with leg drive involved as well in that kind of pattern. Now you do have to remember I'm probably 4 or 5 sets deep in here and I drop the legs, I use the glutes, I use the lower back, and I can move, for 5 repetitions, fairly easily, fairly smoothly at this point. Again, my nervous system is a little bit shot here after all those larsen presses. But the difference, you can already see the quads working, the glutes picking up as I'm trying to use the drive through my heels to move this barbell up. And I'm trying to get more pace in the lower part of the movement here. So yeah, fairly simple. But I would really, really encourage you gentlemen to try the larsen press next time in the gym because you'll see a major difference in terms of the DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, the next day when you're using the larsen press and all that tension is in the chest, the tris, in the anterior delts, instead of you recruiting lower back, lat, glute, and leg activation as well. Even abs as well can come into play. So purely think about the weight in relation to the outcome that you want. You don't want to move weight if you're interested in building a physique. You want to contract your muscles. I'm going to say that one more time. You don't want to move weight if you're trying to build your body. You want to contract your muscles against resistance. So the resistance is just a tool. The weight is just a tool for you to achieve contraction in the muscles. Let's move over to another exercise, which is a personal favorite. It's kind of like a variation on a incline press. I like to keep a fairly narrow grip here, and I'm trying to target that upper shelf. Now, for me, the problem I have is because I do a lot of handstands, a lot of overhead pressing, is my anterior delts will try and take over the movement very, very quickly. So I'm trying to retract my scapula as much as I can, and I'm just trying to get the contraction in the upper area of the chest. I'm trying to build that kind of shelf. which has always been a weak part in my physique there. One of the difficulties you may have is finding the correct incline. I'm always playing around with the angle because the arch many of us create can actually mitigate the incline. So we're always trying to find the best angle for us to get activation in that upper chest area. And to be honest, I usually go a little bit narrower here. People will say go wider, but if you keep the elbows a little bit tucked in close, you actually get a larger range of movement than going wider. I find if your elbow is flaring out, anterior delt is coming to play. And again, be intelligent with your exercise decisions. It's what muscle am I trying to contract here? Am I trying to contract anterior delt? Am I trying to contract tricep? Am I trying to contract my upper chest? What is the objective here, fundamentally? So another one of my favorites is a cable, what would you call it? A cable crossover for really getting blood into the lower chest area. I did do some dips today as well, but I didn't record that. Here again, I have a problem with anterior delt coming into play. I'm really trying to use my pinky to scoop. I'm trying to scoop here and trying to get sole contraction on the chest, isolation of the chest. And the repetition ranges here, guys, are classic bodybuilder ones. They're a lot of sets, so like between 5 and 6 sets, and a lot of repetitions, between 12 and 15 repetitions, a lot of volume. In that way, I'm getting a lot of contraction of the muscle. I'm flushing a lot of blood into the muscle, and I'm trying to induce failure and myofibrillar, sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, which is the volume in the muscle. I'm trying to get that kind of bubble Phil Heath look, that classic kind of bodybuilder look. I would say my training style typically is a hybrid between strength and bodybuilding, my training style, pardon me. So you see, I usually start with a lot of strength-based rep ranges, 5x5, for example, is a classic. And then the complementary exercises are normally bodybuilder variations, a lot of high sets and high repetitions in that. I'm putting on a little bit more weight here and really trying to squeeze the fuck out of my chest as much as I can. And then the last set here. This is a really great exercise for building that mind-muscle connection with the function of the chest, which is horizontal flexion, right? I'm thinking all of my attention here is on my humerus, is on my elbows. And how can I get my elbows, you can kind of see, how can I get my elbows close as I can to my sternum? Elbows, sternum, and then get that range, sternum, range, sternum, range, sternum, range. I'm trying to get as much range of motion so I can flush blood back in and get the contraction that I want there. So, gentlemen, that was my little workout there. I didn't do too much in the way of, I didn't want to show you, I don't want to make this video too long. I'm trying to make these workout videos a little bit shorter than usual and provide as much concise value as I can. If you found that valuable, I can give you some other exercises which have certainly been conducive to me building that physique. And yeah, drop your comments below if you like them. Please try the Larsen press. I think it's such a gem of an exercise that I rarely see people using. And let me know how your workouts are going. Speak soon.